Hi, welcome to another video by English with Shola. Today we're going to talk about alcohol, the history and effects. The lesson outline includes a brief history, different points of view, and the effects, and we will end with discussion. First, let's look at this statement, this quote. It says, almost anything can be preserved in alcohol, except health, happiness, and money. So right now, I'd like for you to pause the video and discuss what does this statement mean, and do you agree or disagree? Remember, to express agreement, we say, I agree with this statement because, or I disagree with this statement because. You can pause now to have your discussion and then continue. So now that you've had your discussion about that statement, we're going to look at some vocabulary that's in the history video. First, let's practice pronunciation. Please repeat after me. Stumble, overripe, split, intoxicating, gorge, unwitting, harness, yeast, millet, stored, consumption, latch on to an idea, beverages, boil, spoil, harvest, staple, play a crucial role. Now, I'd like for you to use either a paper traditional dictionary book or use your phone, use your device to go online and search for the meanings of these words. Search for the definitions. If your teacher allows, you might also search for the translation in your native language. Just remember that when we're looking up English words in the dictionaries or translators, be careful. Use your knowledge because sometimes there are words in English that have different definitions depending on different context. For example, harness. A harness can be a noun, and it's an actual tool or that is used to hold something in place. For example, people who go rock climbing or rappelling down the waterfalls or the slippery, dangerous rocks when they're hiking, they use a harness. So it's actually a device that they have to put around their body to hold them connected to the rope so they are safe. But harness can also be a verb, and to harness something means to be able to create it and produce it. And that is going to be the context in this video. Another example of words with different meanings is staple. Probably there in your classroom or in your office or on your desk, you might have a stapler with the little metal clips inside so you can staple papers together. But we're talking about alcohol, so we're not using that context. Here, staple has a different meaning. It means a main part of your diet, a main food that you always have. So just be careful when you're looking up the words. Remember, there might be different definitions for different context and situations. Also, we have latch on to an idea. If you simply look for the word latch, you're not getting the full meaning of this phrase. This is a phrasal verb. Latch on to something means to connect to it or hold on to it. Also, play a crucial role. You can't just look up the word play and say, okay, it just means jugar, have fun, play a game or a sport. Here, it's a special phrase, to play a role, which means to have a certain responsibility. And here we also have crucial, which is an adjective added to role. So it's to play a crucial or very important role or responsibility. So pause the video now, take time to look up the meanings. Perhaps if you're in a class or in a small group, you can divide the words. So each group can look up 3 or 4 words. So you don't have too much work to do, and then you can share what the words mean with the rest of your class. When you're ready, let's continue to the video. And in the video, you will hear these words used in conversation in the context. So you have the PDF. In the PDF file, the video does work here. So you just need to click it to play. There you go. So now let's take a look at the origin of the word alcohol. It is derived from the Arabic alcohol. You can see how that sounds similar to the word we use now, alcohol, alcohol, which means coal. When the Europeans became familiar with this substance in Andalusia, which is the southern region of Spain, which was also used for medical purposes, they referred to it and gradually all other fine powders and subsequently all kinds of volatile essences as alcohol. So that's just a little bit of the history.
It's really good. Are you sure you don't want a glass? I don't drink. The word alcohol comes from the Arabic term akul, which means body-eating spirit. The biochemical purpose of alcohol is to extract the soul essence of an entity. For example, extracting essences for essential oils. Now, when humans consume alcohol, it extracts the essence of the soul, allowing for entities with lower frequencies, also known as spirits, to enter your body. It's really good. Are you sure you don't want a glass?
So in that clip, we just heard the soul essence of an entity and the soul. So the soul essence of an entity means the entire being, the entire part of something or someone. And also, the soul, like in Spanish, it's el alma, the part of a person that is not physical. It's more of the spiritual part of a person.
I don't drink.
So if you need to, just click to play the video again. And let's, oh, actually we can't. Okay, sorry about that. So let's look at the questions. How did the woman react to her date's point of view? You could tell by her facial expression. How do you think she was feeling? How did she react? And have you ever heard this point of view before? That alcohol steals your spirit or your soul. So what's your take on it? That means, what's your opinion? What do you think about this? Go ahead and pause the video and discuss. So now let's continue with conversation. The next 4 slides contain information to read and discuss. Look up any new words in the dictionary if you need to. Express to what extent you agree or disagree. So you can say, I strongly agree with this because, or I kind of agree with this, or I agree a little bit, or I agree up to a point, but then I don't agree with that part. Or you might say, I disagree, or I strongly disagree. I don't believe this at all. And explain your response with supporting evidence. So try to give a reason or give some proof of why that's your belief. Maybe you know a personal experience. Maybe you read something in the news. Maybe you have seen some scientific information. That can all be evidence. So here's the first question. How is alcohol viewed in society? Well, the way that society views alcohol is another reason why people might think it's not such a big deal. Most individuals view drinking as socially acceptable and don't realize how easy it can be to fall into an addiction trap if they aren't careful with their intake. So, do you agree with this or do you disagree? That most individuals view drinking as socially acceptable, and it's easy to fall into an addiction trap if you aren't careful with your intake. Please discuss that with your group. You can pause the video if you need to. Now moving on to the second question to discuss. Why is alcohol so mainstream? Mainstream means it's very popular. The majority of society does this. Some people don't feel they can have a good time without alcohol, which does act on the body to promote feelings of giddiness. Giddiness is when you feel kind of happy and laughing, or reduce inhibitions. Because of this, many people turn to an adult beverage to prime themselves for a party or entertainment, to prime themselves to get ready for a party or for entertainment. The culture often encourages alcohol as a coping mechanism. So again, pause the video, take a few moments to read this and discuss in your group or with your partner. Do you agree with this or disagree? And give some evidence about why or why not. Okay, moving on to the third question. Do films influence our choices? So, alcohol in modern films. Relative to ancient examples, alcohol in media has exploded in recent history for several reasons. A larger percent of the population in modern civilizations are able to enjoy alcohol and the media it's featured in recreationally. In 2017, Statistics MRC, a global marketing research company, estimated the global alcoholic beverages market to be worth about 1,324 billion US dollars. This enormous demand for alcohol isn't necessarily unexpected, considering humanity's historical love of booze, but it means that the nature of alcohol depictions has largely changed. A study performed in 1996 and again in 2017 found a monumental increase in the depiction of alcohol brands in the top 100 films of the year. The first pass found 140 depictions of branded alcohol, and 20 years later, that number has jumped to 282. That's a 96% increase. The study accounted for film rating and found that PG and G films both frequently featured branded alcohol. I'm shocked by that. Oh my gosh. Because when the films are rated PG and G, that means they're appropriate for children. So even movies or films that are for children audiences have alcohol in them. Interesting. Remember, exploded at the top. You see the underlined alcohol in media has exploded. That means it has increased. It's gotten really big. It has spread. And the second blue underline, humanity's historical love of booze. Booze is just another word for alcohol. And the third underlined word is monumental, a monumental increase. Monumental is similar to exploded. It signifies something has increased a lot. It's quite big and quite important. Okay, so again, pause the video, discuss with your group, your class, or your partner, and then when you're ready, let's continue. So the fourth and final question, do films influence our choices? Actually, this is the same question as before, but we have some new information to read. Incidental alcohol consumption and advertising in movies. Directors and writers may meticulously with much detail, with a lot of attention to detail. So they may meticulously plan and shoot every scene. But not all alcohol in movies serves as the focus of the film. For the purpose of this description, incidental alcohol consumption refers to movies that feature characters drinking or otherwise interacting with alcohol without alcohol being the focus of the movie. Dartmouth is the name of a university in the USA. at Dartmouth College. Dartmouth researchers found that 80% of movies feature some degree of incidental alcohol consumption. This type of drinking exposure, while it may seem harmless, serves as a means of advertising for alcohol brands. Researchers from the previously mentioned study note that brands feel safe being featured in movies using product placement, a form of native advertisements. Native advertising describes a type of ad that intentionally mimics or copies the content it's in to avoid breaking immersion. Product placement functions as a covert is secret or hidden advertisement, not drawing undue attention to itself, but still representing the brand in a movie. A character drinking a beer at a bar during a scene could be considered advertising if the label of the can or bottle is clear and visible. If they were to pick up the can or bottle and monologue an endorsement that has nothing to do with the story, that would be a native advertisement. Okay, so here you might want to discuss, if you remember, any scenes in series or movies that specifically showed alcohol, and do you remember the brand name because you saw it in the film and it was so easy to remember? Well, if so, do you think that's influencing your thinking and your choices about drinking alcohol? Pause to discuss, and then let's continue. Now let's get into the physiological effects, exactly how drinking alcohol affects our brain and the other organs in our body. Again, in the PDF file, you can click on this video and it will play. So, can you list some negative effects of drinking alcohol that were given in that video? Pause if you need to take time to write the effects or to discuss the effects. Also answer, has the information presented in the video influenced your opinion about drinking? Why or why not? So we've come to the end of the lesson. I would love to know overall, was this lesson interesting to you? Did you learn a new word or phrase? Do you feel more confident in your ability to discuss this particular topic of alcohol, how it affects our body, and how it's presented in society? Please drop a comment below. Let me know what you think, and I hope you have a great day. See you later.